Thank you for joining me, Glenora Shipura, on NMH at 1, where we highlight the news making waves in Namibia and beyond, ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports, and economic news. Coming up in this broadcast, Investment Promotion Facilitation Bill nears finalisation. Standing Committee on Economic and Public Administration scrutinized management of rail transport and railway service. Woman freed after 12 years of captivity by her husband, French police confirm. Do stay tuned for these stories and more on NMH at 1. Getting into our midday news update, Niger junta leader General Abdurrahmane Chachini has named a former finance minister as the new prime minister following the 26 July coup. Ali Maham Lamin Zayin replaces Muhammadu Ouhamadou, who was in Europe during the coup. Zayin, reported to be in his 50s, served as cabinet director and finance minister from 2001 until the overthrow of the late former president Muhammadu Tanja by the army in 2010. His appointment was announced in a statement read on state-owned television channel Tel Zahil on Monday night by a junta spokesperson. Zayin has worked for the African Development Bank in Chad, Ivory Coast, and Gabon in recent years, according to the privately owned Actu Niger News website. Visual News highlights local stories from across Namibia coming right after this break.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Let's take a look at our visual news. NamWater on Saturday started to pump water from the Olushanja Dam through the Etaka Canal and finally to Lake Oponana. In this video insert, the NamWater Chief Executive Officer Abraham Nehemiah explains the process. The pumping period is estimated to go until December, depending on the rainfall patterns. Tuyemu Haidula reports.
All right, we are here at the beginning of Etaka Canal, where it is connected to the Olushanja Dam. We are here to officially open the water from the dam into the canal. This Etaka Canal has been for the past 20 years or so, occasionally being used to transport water to the Uvudia and Oponana areas when we have serious drought in the area. And definitely this year we also have a drought, and we are now pumping water into the canal so that we can get water to the grazing areas where we have a lot of cattle. We can still remember in 1991 and 92 when we had a drought, and we have lost so many cattle carcasses everywhere in the so-called Ombuga. And from there we learned a lesson that we have to always be on top of issues to make sure that water gets there before it is worse in terms of grazing and livestock rearing in that area. So this year what happened when we realized we didn't have sufficient water, the honorable governors from Oshikoto, Oshana and Omsati came to this area. They looked at what was going on here, they followed the canal. And the honorable governor from Sati then wrote me a letter to say we have really to do something about this water into the canal this year as well. And we then approached the office of the Prime Minister and the office of the Honorable Minister for Agriculture, Water and Land Reform to get some finance support so that we can then do the work. Where we got a positive response, and as such we were able to mobilize and get the equipment on site. As we speak, the equipment are in the area of Otamanzi, so they have already cleaned the whole area from Olushanja Dam up to Otamanzi area. And we have decided that we are not going to wait for the whole canal to be cleaned and rehabilitated. We want to open the water so that the water can be following these people as they are doing the work, and help those people in between who do not really have water. We also had, when we were here, a chance to drive along the canal and engage some of the communities. People are desperate. There's just no water in the area, and it's very important that this water is opened as soon as possible. There are some years when we finished and we were only able to put water in the canal towards end of November, December, when it's already starting to rain. That's why this year we approach it differently, and we decided that we are going ready to put water in the canal as early as possible, so that we can make sure that we save lives for both people and livestock.
The Parliamentary Standing Committee on Economics and Public Administration took a trip to the Oshana region on Monday for oversight on the management of railway services, rail transport infrastructure, and facilities. The team will also visit Ohangwena, Oshikoto, and Oshodo-Jupa regions. Matthias Mbundu, the deputy chairperson of the Standing Committee, said the purpose for the trip is for the committee to see progress being made on site. He expressed disappointment that the deadline will not be reached, as the infrastructure was to be handed over to Transnamib in July 2023. He spoke to Teyemo Haidula.
My name is Matthias Mbundu. I'm the Deputy Chair of Economics Committee on Economics Committee on Parliamentary Standing Committee, Public Administration. So we came here on the Oshakati rail station, so because to oversight and to see the challenge for Transnamib about the railway. Come and do the oversight and to see ourselves with our own eye on the ground. So what's going on about the challenge for Transnamib, the railway station, and the infrastructure. So now what we find here, so the people that are busy on the site, they have been given them due date, which is on the 30th of September, they have to finish the construction, but as we see, it won't be possible. So unless they have to put in force to see what they will do, but otherwise they are already in the red line, so they have already got penalty. So they will see what will happen. But otherwise, this is not our end, so still proceed to Oshikango, Ondangwa, and to see what's really going on, so that we can do the proper reporting, so that when we go back and to table it in the Parliament for further deliberation.
After the break, the Namibian Sun leads us into the newspaper review segment.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the 15.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune into Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
Let's take a look inside today's daily newspapers. The Namibian Sun reports that the growing number of seals within the country's rich fishing grounds is hindering fishing operations, fishing industry players lamented. Adolf Berger, the general manager of Princess Brand Processing, has raised concerns about the increasing number of seal colonies in areas rich with horse mackerel, saying the company now has to compete with the seals. Speaking at a consultation meeting with the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Natural Resources, he highlighted the devastating effects of the growing seal population on the sustainable harvest of fish stock in Walvis Bay. According to him, the seals understand the fishing operations of vessels. The Namibia University of Science and Technology spokesperson has urged his colleague to rethink suing him, saying it will cause the institution further reputational damage. The country's second largest university has endured bad publicity in recent months stemming from alleged mismanagement, infighting, and governance flaws. NAST Chief Legal Officer Joshua Kaumbi last month lodged a case with the High Court demanding $500,000 million for alleged defamation after the university mouthpiece John Haufiku made false and unlawful remarks about him on the national broadcaster's one-on-one talk show. According to Kaumbi, the remarks hurt his reputation and violated his dignity. He insisted that Haufiku deliberately wants to paint him as a dishonest and unethical person who is out to taint NAS's image at all costs. Kaumbi, who was suspended in April, instructed his lawyers to take Haufiku to task for saying the reason for his suspension was that he leaked information to the media. Haufiku told Namibian Sun he has no personal vendetta against Kaumbi. On the Republicans' front page, a 47-year-old farmer from Otavi was arrested on Sunday and consequently charged with murder after he allegedly caught and shot dead a suspected poacher on his farm, Spurberg number 585. According to the police, Kelvin Mahoshi and his farm workers were patrolling the farm on Saturday when they came across the pairs of suspicious footprints. They followed the tracks when they saw a man running away at around 7 p.m. The suspected poacher allegedly fled into the bushes and then started shooting at Mahoshi and his farm worker. Mahoshi reportedly fired 2 shots in the air, but the suspect poachers continued to fire in their direction. The man reportedly fired back and forth until it got dark, and Mahoshi and his worker returned home. On Sunday at around 8 a.m., Mahoshi and his farm worker went back to the scene to investigate. They combed the scene and came across the body of a man with serious head wounds. Namibia's Husep uranium mine continues to grow. The owners of the mine, Swakop Uranium, recently announced that production has grown by 10% compared to expectations for the first half of 2023 at 2,426 tons. The first half of this year's production is 45% more than over the same period in 2022. According to Swakop Uranium, the increased production is attributed to a strong mining and mill performance for the first 6 months of the year. Volumes through the mill grew by 20.2% over this period, and mine volumes rose by 29.6% over the relevant period compared to 2022 results. Now, Minister of Trade Lucia Ipumbu yesterday hosted a meeting with Namibia's business community on the new draft legislation. Namibia is expected to be able to better control and protect its business sectors with the new law. Now, appointed asset managers in the ongoing Fishot corruption scandal want to resign from office. Escalating hostilities between them and Attorney General Martha Imara are stalling everything. We'll be right back with more Newsbar Review after the break.
The Agenda is a weekly national affairs interview program hosted every Sunday by Namibian Sun editor Toivon Jabela, featuring a panel of high-profile newsmakers, analysts, and experts. The Agenda aims to reach high-end news consumers seeking informed understanding of national issues. This show is broadcasted on NTV, 1up2.com, and the Namibia Media Holdings Facebook platform. The Agenda focuses on interviews where we put the nation in the hot seat. Contact Agenda at synergy.com.na to get your product and service in the hot seat. The Agenda, focused on today's conversation.
We continue with our newspaper review, starting off with the Namibian's front page. The Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture has contracted the Namibia Defence Force company, August 26 Construction, to build classrooms and ablution facilities at public schools countrywide to the tune of $255.5 million Namibian. Over the years, the books of August 26 could not be made public, as it was said that it would compromise state security. Education Minister Anangiyo Pondoka last weekend said that at the end of last year, the total number of classrooms needed across the country stood at over 4,000. Now, the Katutura Residents Committee is still waiting for a response from the City of Windhoek over the termination of Red Force Debt Management's contract. The committee met the city management on the 19th of July to vent their dissatisfaction over the use of a third party to collect outstanding debts. The committee chairperson Benestus Kaundundu says after their meeting, the Windhoek City Council requested a 2-week period to deliberate on the matters that arose during the meeting. The New Era's lead story delves into the lives of a population classified as stateless, which in Namibia exceeds 140,000 people, some undocumented. Stateless people are those individuals who do not have citizenship in any country, while undocumented people lack legal documentation to prove their identity and citizenship. Both groups are faced with challenging circumstances and human rights abuses. The World Health Organization and the United Nations partner agencies have commended Namibia on its path to eliminating HIV, syphilis, and hepatitis B virus transformation from mother to child, reports the paper's page 3. Now, WHO's officer in charge, Mary Branto, said that they are ecstatic that Namibia has remained as determined as ever to move with the aspiration to eliminate mother-to-child transmissions. Moving on to Market Watch, page 1, the United Nations Food Agency's All Rice Price Index in July increased by 2.8% compared to the previous month and by 19.7% compared to a year ago to reach its highest nominal level since September 2011, the Food and Agriculture Organization reported on Friday. Global food commodity prices rose last month, influenced by the termination of the Black Sea Grain Initiative and new trade restrictions on rice, the FAO said. The Namibia Investment Promotion and Facilitation Bill is nearing finalization. An update on this story coming up after the break.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Let's take a look at our economic news. The Namibia Investment Promotion and Facilitation Bill is nearing finalization and will undergo consultation before it is enacted, Industrialization Minister Lucia Ipumbu said during a recent workshop. The Ministry of Trade has been working around the clock to finalize the new Investment Act, which is currently undergoing final consultative engagements. We are committed to finalize this process to ensure that Namibia addresses the policy gap when it comes to the investment environment to avoid investor uncertainty, she said. Let's take a look at our economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 23.85, against the euro at 20.59, against the US dollar at 18.78, and $2 gets you 1 Chinese yuan. Namibia breweries went down on the NSX. Overall index closed at 0.02%, while local index closed at 0.01%. Only copper went up on the commodities, with Brent crude oil trading at 2.45%, going at $83.90 per barrel. We return with news from Africa after this break. Getting into our news from Africa, Angola's police have allegedly killed over a dozen activists since January, Human Rights Watch said on Monday, urging government to swiftly probe reports of abuse and rights violations. The country's law enforcement authorities have also been accused of the arbitrary arrest and detention of hundreds, the NGO said in a statement. Angolan law enforcement authorities, including police, state security, and intelligence services, have been implicated in unlawful killings of at least 15 people, HRW said. Political activists, artists, and protest organizers were the main targets of the alleged rights violations, which HRW has condemned. Angolan authorities should urgently act to end abusive police policies and practices and ensure that there is justice for victims and their family members, Zenaida Machado, senior Africa researcher at HRW, said in the statement. Although the government has attempted to improve law enforcement, criminal prosecutions against police officers who committed these violations remain rare, HRW said. Now, in our next story, UN appeal judges have ordered that Rwandan genocide suspect Felicien Kubaga be urgently considered for release and that the war crimes trial against him be indefinitely suspended. In June, judges at a UN War Crimes Court ruled Mr. Kubaga was unfit to stand trial due to his dementia, but suggested alternative procedures should take place. Now, appeal judges have rejected the suggestion. According to the judges, the UN War Crimes Tribunal made an error of law in June by deciding that Mr. Kubaga should be tried via an alternative simplified procedure despite his state of health, and now a lower trial chamber has been ordered at work on releasing him. The businessman and radio station owner, now in his late 80s, was one of the last suspects sought by the tribunal prosecuting crimes committed during the 1994 genocide in Rwanda. He is accused of spreading hatred through his radio station and motivating the killers who killed more than 800,000 people in just 100 days. Arrested in Paris in 2020 after 2 decades on the run, Mr. Kubaga pleaded not guilty. The court has admitted this latest decision will be disappointing for the victims and survivors of the genocide, but noted that justice can only be served with full respect for the rights of the accused. We'll get into your international news shortly. Now, French police on Monday said they had arrested a German national after his wife was discovered after 12 years of captivity in the couple's home. A police source said the woman, also German, was naked with her head shaved when they found her in a bedroom in the apartment and had multiple injuries, including broken bones. The wife had probably been tortured, the source said. Police said the bedroom was closed off with metal wire at the residence in eastern France, which is close to the German border. The 53-year-old woman had managed to call police in Germany, who in turn alerted their French colleagues, a police source said. She has been rushed to the hospital with fractures in both legs and her fingers. The man, 55, is accused of kidnapping, aggravated rape, and acts of torture and barbarism, French broadcaster BFM TV said. Now, broadcaster RMC said police found a diary-type notebook in the flat in which it was believed the man kept a record of his actions and of the times he gave his wife food. We'll get into your local sports news after the break. Now, Brave Warriors and former Tigers FC player Absalom Limbondi is reportedly training with Comas Nampol FC. Sources have confirmed that the newly promoted side also has 2 other players from Tigers training with them. Speculation is also rife that a few young players from the first division, including a player from Black Africa and African Stars, have also joined the Namibian police team. Namibian Sun understands, however, that none of the players training with the team have signed a contract with the club yet. Sources say the club is negotiating with the players for possible signings. It is also understood that some of the players could still be contracted by their former clubs, which is delaying the negotiation process. Now, Antonius Omungongo and Evelyn Shilongo emerged as victors in the 6th round of the 2023 Nedbank for Good series, which took place at Oshakati Golf Club in the northern town on Saturday, on the 5th of August. Now, a total of 24 golfers took part on the day. Omungongo garnered 45 points ahead of Eino Kamati, who amassed 42 points in second place, and Elifias Limbonti, who managed 41 points in third place. Shilongo led the event by 37 points ahead of second place Hilia Ininga on 27 points. Event organizer Dan Swiebel said the event was a huge success, despite the fact that the Oshakati Golf Club has a small contingent of golf members. Now, the exciting first edition of the PST Bet Omusati Region Governors Cup has concluded on Sunday evening, with Governor Erginus Enjala describing it as a resounding success. Jokingly, Enjala said the amount of attendees they had at the Cup made visitors believe Olufuko Cultural Festival is black. He thanked all the coaches, volunteers, and organizers who have worked to make the event a success, saying sporting events help to keep the youth of the streets and avoid engaging in criminal activities. The tournament started on Thursday and was officially opened on Friday, concluded on Sunday evening. A total of 12 constituencies in the region participated in the games. We'll be right back with your international sports news. Now, Royal AM will make their first of what will be a minimum of 5 visits to Gauteng this season when they take on Orlando Pirates in the DStv Premiership in Soweto on Tuesday. It has been 17 months since they last won a game in the province, and they can expect to be put under severe pressure as the Buccaneers look to atone for losing their opening fixture of the new league season away at Stellenbosch at the weekend. Now, Royal AM made a stunning start in their first top-flight season, and a third-place finish for a rookie club was unprecedented. But last season, that last start faded as they could only manage an 11th place finish. We'll come back with your highlights after this break.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
And with that, we've come to the end of our broadcast. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia. From me, Glenn Rashipura, until next time.